Legend has it that it was written by the Dark Ones, Necronomicon Ex Mortis, roughly translated, Book of the Dead. The book served as a passageway to the evil worlds beyond. It was written long ago, when the seas ran red with blood. It was this blood that was used to ink the book. In the year 1300 AD, the book disappeared.
Welcome, Deadites and humans, to another episode of Invasion of the Remake. I'm your host, Jason Bishop, and with me today is Jeff McNair, Evil Dead extraordinaire.
Yep, I've seen this movie far too many times to be healthy for anyone's mental state.
And, of course, our hostess with the mostest, Trish Coughlin.
Thanks. Hi, everybody.
And this, of course, is another of our Halloween spooky episodes. We're so cheesy. and that just is appropriate for this week's episode of Evil Dead. Evil Dead from Sam Raimi, 1981, and the 2013 remake by Fede Alvarez.
Yes.
Which is a fucking creepy movie.
Yeah, they went like full scary gore on that one.
Yeah, it's crazy. And of course, we're timing this for Halloween. This is our Halloween episode. In a few days, Ash versus the Evil Dead. Yeah, Ash vs. the Evil Dead premieres on Starz on Halloween night. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to some new Bruce Campbell in the role. I'm always looking forward to whatever Bruce Campbell does, but
I like me some Bruce.
Yeah.
But this also brings me some Lucy Lawless, which I'm also quite fond of.
as another demon hunter, so
I know, right?
Well, they had to find a tough as nails, 40, 50 something to play off of Bruce, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, she's one of Sam Raimi's favorites back from Xena, and so she can play that goofy badass, over-the-top badass.
She gets it.
She does get it, yeah. So
this character reminds me a lot of her brief stint on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I remember that. She was like whatever agent for 2 episodes, but similar kind of look and attitude.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Sure.
I had a friend says, you should do like an after episode like Talking Dead. And I'm like, no.
Talking Dead. But how would we
Jeff
make it?
Doesn't have cable, so
yeah. It's not, I'm not going to be able to see that.
I don't turn on my television most days, so it's my PVR is going to be full by the time.
Like, how would we make the fight? Like, Walking Dead is Talking Dead. What would be like Tweevil Dead? Or Tweetville Dead? We're tweeting our entire thing.
Oh, hey, well,
we'll tweet after Evil Dead.
I could actually handle doing that.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. So hashtag Tweetful Dead.
128 characters after the episode. Tune in.
Yeah. That was 140.
I don't know.
Either.
Whatever.
What the hell is the internet?
If anybody's following us on Twitter knows that I honestly don't get it.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm
working
trying
on
to take more of an active role on our Twitter.
Yeah, and we need more Twitter followers. So guys, at Invasion Remake, do it.
Do it.
So, with these episodes, we always start with our first viewing. So, guys, when did you first see this movie?
I saw 2, I think in my 20s. It was like in university, and there's a whole story with me and my ex-roommate, Stacy. Hi, Stacy. We would rent this movie and
you still owe her rent.
Yeah, I still owe her rent. Ooh, sorry, Stacy. But no, we'd rent the Evil Dead movies. We just, where the hand gets off, we'd be like, and just creepily move our hands toward the other person every once in a while. If you just wanted to freak the other person out, that was just our thing. But yeah, so it was a very high-end movie in the place where I lived in the 90s. So
Jeff.
We're covering the 1981 and the 2013, but I think, like most people in my generation, I started with Evil Dead 2, and most people who know me know my love affair with that movie. I was blown away by it, and Ash and the goofiness and the gore, and I watched that movie, no word of a lie, every weekend at least once for a year. Every weekend at least once for a year. So I have seen that movie 50 or 60 times.
That's your
2.
Star Wars.
It's my Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, and I eventually went backwards in my my middle teens and watched the first one, and I recall not liking it, so I've maybe seen it maybe 4 or 5 times.
Right.
I was really drawn to the camp and goofiness of of Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Watching it again yesterday for this on the really, really great Anchor Bay Blu-ray release, it's all cleaned up and nice, and the soundtrack just like penetrates your skull. I have a way greater appreciation for that movie. It will never, ever edge out Evil Dead 2 for me, but it definitely is one hell of a movie. And I watch that movie and see the stuff that goes on in it and the gore, and like that movie in 1981, it has to be a video nasty. Is it on the list?
Yeah, it is on the list of video nasties. It did get an X rating and banned in certain countries. And I saw it on the list with Cannibal Holocaust and I Spit on Your Grave. So and rightfully so. Like when I first,
and I don't believe it belongs.
Yeah,
I don't.
I do actually.
That gore is intense.
It is. When I first watched this, and much like you guys, I started with 2. I was recommended just skip a number 1 and go straight into number 2. And of course, the manic completist in me had to go back. And I was a little young to appreciate it. It kind of bored me, didn't interest me, and I'd given it a couple of goes before watching it this week again. And much like you, I have a much stronger appreciation for this. And I've got some filmmaker creds under my belt, and I look at it a little differently. And I got to say, it's actually quite a strong film for its small budget of $90,000.
Yeah,
and for what they accomplished,
considering too
quite
that
something.
that
And it
team
is gory.
like Sam Raimi and his gang there.
Yeah.
I mean they were doing high 8 shorts.
Yeah.
And to go from that to this feature that can stand against things like Cannibal Holocaust,
Yeah.
and Last House on the Left, and I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah, and the things
quite a
Tom
testament.
Sullivan did with the special effects with such a limited budget was crazy. That stop motion stuff. I mean, it looks very dated today, but I still dig it.
Mm-hmm.
It was done very well.
Yeah, it's almost claymation-y stuff, but at the same time, and which I guess kind of inspired where to go afterwards. You know, when they remade it a few years later in '87 with Evil Dead 2, or released a partial remake and sequel, which is something they like to do, because I'd say the new 2013 reboot remake is also a soft continuation of the series as well. So we'll get into all of that, because there's
a reimagining.
It is, and in my mind, a reimagining and reboot and remake in all the best ways. So.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get into what I think about that later. Saving it up.
Yeah, exciting kids. There may be just a disagreement between Jason and Jeff today, and not just me and Jeff.
Yeah. Every what are we at? 8 episodes?
If you have that invasion bingo, you're going to hit that.
This will be number
today.
10.
I'm
not
We're
sure
getting there,
exactly.
guys.
I'm not exactly sure. So, I think last week's was nice. So let's play the trailer before we really get into this. This is the trailer for the original Evil Dead from 1981, Sam Raimi.
I have seen the dark shadows moving in the woods, and I have no doubt that whatever I have resurrected through this book is sure to come calling for me.
It was the woods themselves. They're alive, Ashley.
I fear that the only way to stop those possessed by the spirits of the book is through the act of bodily dismemberment.
I don't care what happens to her. She's your girlfriend. You take care of her.
Okay, so that was 1981's Evil Dead by Sam Raimi. Interesting movie, you know, he does some interesting camera moves and stuff with the Dutch angles and stuff. And I think that's maybe what led a little bit into the camp when he went into Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. But this is actually quite a serious and dark film. I think he was kind of going for a Night of the Living Dead vibe on this thing.
Well, he was going for straight scary.
Yeah.
Anything that they thought of like for adding the comedy kind of came later. But yeah, this was supposed to be like just a straight scare freak movie. I think that's why the gore is so like amped up. They wanted it to be frightening.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I watch these and I just can't get me enough of that tree rape.
Oh, God.
Actually, in Evil Dead 2, they kind of make the tree less rapey and just more brutalizing.
Yeah.
They kind of comment on that.
Which I have to say is better. Like, I watched that scene this morning, and I'm like, there's the part where, like, it just plunged, like,
Oh, I mean, that was actually...
In possession of a vagina, that does not look good.
I did not remember that, and it just this big tree branch straight up her legs, like, whoa!
Interesting thing with that shot, as I recall reading in Bruce Campbell's book, If Chins Could Kill. If you're interested in Bruce, you should read that book. It basically
really
the behind the scenes of making.
It's a great book. I've got it in
fantastic.
hardcover, and I'm sure you can get it on Nook and Kindle or whatever. But
yeah, I remember them saying that tree sequence it was out of their shooting schedule or some such thing. So that was done in like someone's garage.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty brutal, and I barely remember that sequence in 2 now. God, I thought I knew that movie.
Yeah, it's more, it's subtler.
She just gets dragged out by the legs,
She gets
right?
dragged out.
Yeah,
No,
and she gets slammed into trees.
She gets slammed trees, but there's also like the hint of it going between her legs. It's not like a full-on stab to the vagina.
It's not nearly as brutal as it looked in the original, and they have some tree branches going down her mouth, so they still have that cavity invasion, but it's a little subtler. I guess as subtle as you can get with trees
with tree rape.
Tree rape, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt watching in the first movie that sequence again that it was maybe a little nod to the exploitative revenge movies like I Spit on Your Grave and Last House. Like even though it was trees, it really had that vibe to it.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I mean obviously he's making nods to Craven all over the place. The most obvious is the Hills Have Eyes poster in the basement.
Yes.
Oh, sure, and that continues with Craven as well.
Throughout the whole series.
Yeah, those guys did it back and forth throughout their movies, you know.
Yeah, original Nightmare on Elm Street, they're watching
they're watching Evil Dead.
Evil Dead 2 has Freddy's glove.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty common. I was really trying to pay attention in the 2013 one, and I don't know if you guys spotted anything in that regard, but I didn't.
I didn't catch anything either.
Yeah.
When they did the Freddy Jason movie, the follow-up to that was supposed to be Ash versus Freddy versus Jason. And, you know, it got shelved in favor of a remake of those franchises, but it did come out as a comic book, and there was a sequel to that comic book as well. And it was based on the original screenplay. So if you guys want to see what that would have been, go seek out the comic book. It came out through Wildstorm. I do believe it's out of print right now, but, you know.
No, I think it's in trade.
No, even the trade's out of print.
Oh, really?
That's a licensing thing, right?
Yeah, so. I guess. You can find them.
You might know somebody who might know somebody who might know somebody.
That's right. Call Words and Pictures. That's where I work.
Yeah. Words and Pictures.
What was that name again?
Words and Pictures here in Calgary.
Find them on Facebook. I was thinking when I saw the tree attack thing, and I was thinking, like, you know, they're paying homage to those early exploitation movies, that there was a lot of nods to filmmakers in that. Like, I felt keeping the entity hidden throughout the movie was kind of like a Hitchcock thing, where it's like, you know, the fear of the unknown and the thing you don't see is scary, and you get that kind of eye of the killer thing. Like, I mean, it's very, very inventive in Evil Dead. I don't know if they spearheaded that.
Well, it's kind of like, the original title was supposed to be Book of the Dead, and definitely the H.P. Lovecraft tones are there as well.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
the hidden horror, right?
Yeah, and I thought that the eye of the killer thing isn't terribly unique in horror movies, but I know that, like, Dario Argento uses it a lot. That's like his vehicle for every fucking movie is the eye of the killer thing. So there's just like nods everywhere. So you can tell that the guys that made this movie, like Raimi and Bruce and all the other ones, just really love that type of stuff. And I find that when Raimi strays into other things, it doesn't work as well for him because he has a certain style that attends well to the horror and horror comedy.
Yeah, I think
horror and
comedy is his
fantasy,
strength. Yeah.
even like anything that's kind of unknowable and strange. Like he's good at that. He's good at kind of bringing you into that universe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before doing this was his first feature, and before doing that, they filmed a lot of shorts, mostly comedy shorts. Him and Bruce Campbell being childhood friends, and they shot a short called Into the Woods as kind of a proof of concept thing to sell this to get a financing for a much bigger feature. They begged, borrowed, and stole from just about everybody they knew, and they still didn't quite get the budget money they wanted. But
yeah. Well, that's kind of...
Dentists funded them. I think that was the thing. They went to like all the dental offices, lawyer offices, just anybody who had money and pitched this thing. Yeah.
Just the guerrilla way of getting it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, well, you know, you watch this movie and guys are like, 90,000, like, this is something achievable, especially now with, I mean, these guys shot on film. So,
for sure.
You know.
You could do it digitally for half the money.
Exactly. So you rent a high-end digital camera, and the stuff they did, all this practical effects, and, you know, some of it doesn't look as good as it does now.
You can still do practical.
They were inventing it all.
But the other thing, too, is, like, you can do digital now and still do something decent. Because, like, if what that last Wolverine movie shows us, you can do it better than they can.
That was something I appreciated in the Fede Alvarez remake. For a guy who's got a background in digital effects,
that's like gore, like just plastered on people.
He chose as much practical effects and, you know, trickery as he could. You know, they looked into magicians and everything to, you know, it's the slower way, but you
get a better
took the
effect.
hard road, and I think it pays off on screen for sure.
Yeah, definitely with longevity in film, the more practical use of effects, like they kind of tend to have a real look to them because they are real. And when you watch something like Evil Dead that was out in 81, it stands up better than the newer movies with digital. Like, look at the Underworld series. Like, that shit is so dated, and it's only 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
And their blood, it looks animated.
Yeah.
And you see these movies, and, you know, when he's dismembering the chick in yellow, I forget her name, like, it's really gory, like, and blood everywhere, and, like, blood spraying in the face, and all the cuts, and the leg clawing, and all that. Like, it just stands up. It looks real. It makes you wince.
Yeah.
There's
and
something
I love
about
that gelatinous twitch of the
Yeah, the twitching.
There's something about it, like, that's just fleshy and meaty.
Yeah.
And, like, you can just feel
Very
the
visceral.
gooiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always, whenever I throw in a movie that's like pre-1990, that's in that vein, like a horror movie or exploitation movie, I'm always like geared up to be grossed out by the effects. I mean, even Dawn of the Dead, 1975.
Yes!
That stuff's so gory and stands up way better than some of these newer digital movies, right? Like, there isn't an effect in the new Dawn of the Dead that grosses me out. And same, although I didn't expect the new the 2013 Evil Dead to be so gory. Like, I don't know how it's going to look in 10 years, but it was pretty over the top.
I remember when that trailer first ran, and boy, did it really get under your skin, make an impression.
It was the X-Acto knife every time.
Yeah, just that splitting of the tongue.
But
yeah,
crazy.
I found myself last night making a bunch of stops and starts with that movie because it gets under your skin. It's just so intense, and it's unrelentingly so. Like, it just, I don't know, grabs you by the balls, pulls on them, and and holds them there for an hour and a half.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable.
Like,
at
I mean,
times.
you look at, like, the other Evil Dead, there's even, like, the one and, like, the two, which is, like, kind of the reset of it. Not really, I'd call it a sequel. But, like, there's moments of levity that would break it up here and there. Like, you didn't, it wasn't in, but the new Evil Dead, it's like, where's my moment where I get to breathe? Where is that? I'm supposed to have one. You owe me one.
Yeah, it even starts faster. Like, in the original, in the 81 Evil Dead, it's a bit of a slow burn. You know, you kind of get that
the kids get to the cabin, and
yeah, this one, it's like they're at the cabin, Mia throws her drugs away, and then they're in it.
Oh, I mean, geez, even that cold open, holy shit.
Yeah, the cold open's pretty intense, too.
So here's my question, actually. I might as well just get right into it. The setup for, like, the original versus the setup versus, like, the new one. Like, the new one having it be she's drying out type of deal. Like, how did you feel about that as, like, the reason to be in the woods?
I just felt like they were trying to make something topical in that, what tends to be a fairly boring opening of establishing character. They were just trying. I think they're trying to do something a little more interesting with those characters. I'm not sure if it paid off or not, but it gets you a little more emotionally invested in them quickly. You know, she's there to dry out. They're supporting her in an intervention, and it's the second one for her.
Yeah.
So.
Like, because on one hand, I can see why it doesn't have to be necessary, but on the other hand, I can kind of see why it does. Because, like, on the one hand, like, it's unnecessary. It's like, why do you need, like, the drug thing underneath it? But on the other hand, it'd be like, well, it makes for a good reason why they're like, we can't possibly leave. Like, even though something has happened, we can't possibly leave.
Because they think it's DT's and she's trying to get back home where the drugs are.
And it also kind of brings, and I don't know if it helps or hurts, like the idea, like maybe she's just having hallucinations because she is just drying out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like
Raimi doesn't bother with that. He just they're out there to have a weekend.
Like, I don't know. I like the idea of being sane and not know, like, this crap happens. You're just trying to justify it.
Well, that's it. When she has the stuff happening to her, they just think she's freaking out and having DTs.
Yeah, which maybe makes the suspense a little longer.
Wolf. Yeah.
Right? And I don't know, I think that the whole first half of that movie is setting you up for the switch at the end, right? So it's like, oh, she's self-destructive and she's the first possessed and she's kind of like, she's the one in the basement the whole time, and then they do that switch, right at the end.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, wait a minute.
That was really clever.
Very good.
Yeah, it was well handled.
I like that. Well, and the other thing, too, I really actually enjoyed the cold open.
And it was kind of weird because it just left their shit there.
Well, I think it was left there because it's sort of like when
it's
you've
like
got...
the Hills Have Eyes people came and left their crap around.
I thought that was the purpose of that, was to keep that evil contained there. Right. I thought that was the purpose behind it. Like, that's why the book was bound. That stuff was there to keep it contained.
Yeah, I'm guessing the regional people who lived in that area thought the cabin was abandoned, and it was the family cabin. It just been not used for a long time, and you get the feeling it was just a revamped version of the old cabin that Bruce was at.
Well,
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a much.
Couldn't use the old cabin.
It's a much nicer looking cabin.
The original cabin burned down years ago.
Well, the original cabin, like, you look at that original cabin, you're like, that's a pretty downtrodden cabin. Like, I'd be looking at going, like, do I want to sleep in this cabin?
That was the real deal. Yeah, that was
stapled to the walls, or like it was all plastic sheets or something.
Yeah, it was a strange, like, last minute set decking or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on there, but
it was a strange cabin. But, like, you're looking at it going, like, I want to have my sleeping bag, but I wouldn't sleep on any of the beds.
Yeah, it's all pretty questionable, that whole thing.
Yeah, I get the feeling a lot of that was just there.
Yeah.
I wonder if they even got the rights to use it. They just found this cabin walking around. And that was a pretty treacherous shoot for Raimi and crew, from what I understand.
Yeah, everybody was getting hurt in that.
Getting hurt, and it was freezing.
Lots of injuries. Yeah, after they finished doing a lot of the interiors, they started burning all the furniture just to stay warm.
Well, yeah, and you look at, like, I have to say, like, not just even the tree rape crap, but, like, the girls, like, not having much on, and you can tell it's freezing there.
They're wearing sweaters for most of that movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Their legs are exposed for a lot of it.
Maybe.
Yeah, they are.
Well, hey, it is what it is. So, what's your favorite moments in this first movie? Like, there's a lot of stuff that people will probably remember more from the second one than from the first one, but Fede Alvarez actually takes a lot from the original, and the original seems to be kind of the forgotten one now, as opposed to Evil Dead 2, which is more the canonized version.
Yeah, there's lots in it that I did confuse with 2. Or they redo scenes in 2.
They certainly take some stuff from
they flesh out stuff more too. Like, there's other bits that were just like a small portion of the first one that become more a key part of the second one.
Yeah. Like the possessed hand, I think people think the Evil Dead version, and he's chasing it around and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very different in the original film. It's just rotting and twitching. And
well, no, he has his hand in the first one, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's not Ash, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no, in Ash, it's not.
It's not Ash in the original.
Like, Linda starts with the puncture in her ankle through with
the
pencil.
Yeah, so that's the pencil.
I thought was really strange.
Yeah, there's no hand.
And she starts chewing.
It spider webs through and
stuff.
And
yeah,
she chews her hand off.
That's not Linda.
No, that's not Linda. Sorry.
That's
No,
the
it's
sister.
Jan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ash's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of my favorite bits are like lines. Like, I love the bit where Linda looks like the Joker for some reason in the hallway, and she's just endlessly like cackling, and Ash is just like, "Shut up, Linda." I always remember that. Shut up, Linda. And what else? There's so many good ones. Like, I like the pencil. Like when she's lurching forward with that, Deadite way that they walk, and she's got the dripping pencil, and it's the over-the-shoulder shot, and I don't know. There's a lot really good. All the flying camera stuff, and
that was always really neat because they didn't have a dolly, so they just Vaselined the board, and then had a couple of guys like shove that camera right down it, the Vasocam.
Yeah, really well shot.
Yeah,
it's lots of great moments. I always remember from that movie, even when I locked it away and only ever watched Evil Dead 2, was the claymation. I did air quotes. No one can see that. The claymation moments at the end, and I especially like where the Linda Deadite thing starts licking her face, and then he looks over, and it's the Necronomicon is trying to lick the fire away.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool sequence.
That one's really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. I don't know. I liked how they deadited people with the eyes, and they had these really big lenses on people. I guess they could only
their whole eyes.
Yeah, it covered their whole eyes, and guess they could only wear them for about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, because
it's another favorite sequence.
But I like the freak out. Her eyes, for God's sakes, what happened to her eyes?
Yeah, and they use it again in the 2013 movie.
Yeah, they do.
It's less effective, I think.
Well, yeah,
because she just has a flat out freak out in 81.
Oh yeah,
and then in the new one they just kind of she says it, but
yeah,
and the Deadite in the basement hammering away and taunting everyone. And
I always like that bit.
Yeah,
and they've done it in all.
And I like when they kind of redo it and it's like a kindly person underneath. They change it more up in the second one, which I like. Whereas it's just a straight demon the whole time in the first one.
Yeah,
first Evil Dead.
Well, first and the remake, it's pretty much a demon all the way through.
Yeah, she's a demon pretty much the whole way through.
She's possessed by the demon. So.
Yeah, I don't know. There's I don't know. There's the new one. I like how they expanded stuff that were there, like the tape. Where they find the tape of the guy recording is I've been doing my research and now my wife and I are out in the woods and they're listening to the tape, and I like that bit, but I liked how they expanded it. No, that's in one. But they don't.
Yeah,
it's a tiny portion of it.
Yeah, it's a much bigger piece in
it's
one.
It's a giant piece in two.
Yeah.
And it's a small piece in one.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I just watched it last night, and I don't remember them listening.
I watched
to the
it this morning, and they did listen to the tape.
It's not in the remake at all.
Because Ash's sister gets upset.
They run it in the
credits.
credits. They run the tape in the credits sequence. Yeah.
Yeah, she turns it off because she doesn't want to listen to it because she's scared in the first one.
Okay, I'm confused. Sorry, I remember it in the first one. In the 2013 one, I don't think they ever do the tape.
No, well, yeah. There's an
no. He finds the book and acts like an idiot.
Yeah, they do roll. They do roll the recording, the original recording during the credits.
Yeah, but that's not in.
But that's not part of the movie.
No, it's not really part of.
Actually, it is part of the movie, and it's for later.
Oh yes.
We don't have to wait, guys.
We don't have to wait. We can hop around.
What I
is this a sequel? Is it a remake?
Yeah, so yes. I think that this 2013 movie is a sequel. It's a straight up sequel.
Okay.
And my theory for this is like this. So in the first Evil Dead, you kind of learn eventually that the main character is Ash, right? So there's a lot of things that happens in all of these movies, and I'm going to leave out Army of Darkness because I think this is like the redheaded stepchild of the series. It doesn't fit.
Yeah,
there's no point for it to be in there.
Yeah,
it's not canon. I just that's probably of all of them, especially now watching one again, is my least favorite. I still love that movie.
Okay.
It's fun, but it's not an Evil Dead movie.
Okay, well,
and you could work it in, but
all right, pay attention, guys. This is where the argument might happen.
Yeah, everything cycles around Ash. Ash is the first person to read the book.
Yes.
Ash is the person who starts the recording.
Yes.
And then listens to it later with his little earphone. He has the same clothes throughout the series, the same outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a little buffer in two, but take that as you will, right?
Yeah, he is.
I'm going through all my stuff. He calls out.
He had 6 years to work out.
He calls out demons in the first movie. He goes, "Why are you tormenting me?"
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he speaks to the demons, And then, of course, I mean, the big give, he's overtaken by the evil force at the end of the movie. Or allegedly.
At the end of
Allegedly,
the second
right?
movie, right?
So now I'm going to go back to
No,
one of our earlier
in- or-
podcast episodes
Yeah.
with Infernal Affair, and I'm going to say that this is Ash's continuous hell. So it's not... Evil Dead 2 isn't like a sly remake. Ash is continually reliving the events that happened in the cabin. And so he might get, like, moments where, you know, he has a new girlfriend or whatever, like, he'll escape.
Purgatory.
But
of sorts.
he'll keep coming back to it and keep losing everything, right? My justification for why number 2 is so over the top and ridiculous, and it does have a lot of moments that I think are important to the Ash character. In the first movie are redone a little grander, is I feel that the Evil Dead 2 isn't the second time that Ash has relived this. I feel like he's been continually reliving it, and he's being driven mad. So things are getting crazier and more outlandish. It's the same idea like with the Hobbit movies. Someone had said, and I agree with this, that the Hobbit movies are more cartoony and outlandish and goofy because it's Bilbo retelling them. And that's why they're like that. Where Lord of the Rings is more of like, this is the serious thing that happened. So I feel like Evil Dead is the Lord of the Rings, Evil Dead 2 is the Hobbit, where it's becoming more and more crazy. And so it goes on and on like this as a continuous hell. He's continually reliving the same things. And I think that somewhere after 2, he escapes again and builds a family. Mm-hmm. And this is where Evil Dead 4, the 2013 one, comes in. Mm-hmm. And things in 4 that kind of got me thinking that was more... And I thought this the first time through. And we didn't talk about our first time viewing, but I went opening night and loved it. Like, I loved this movie. A lot of people hate it, and you guys are dumb. And you can write us on Facebook and tell me I'm wrong. Invasion of the Remake. Well, you are dumb. It's a great movie. And the biggest tell in that whole movie, right in the beginning, what is Mia sitting on?
Yeah, the classic.
She's sitting on a classic. She's sitting on the Oldsmobile. And it's rusted out, and it looks like it's been there. It's overgrown. So a considerable amount of time has gone by. Mia and Ash are both from Michigan because Ash's girlfriend, Linda, is wearing a Michigan State sweater. Mia wears a Michigan State sweater.
Okay.
So they're both from the same area.
Okay.
They say, and I wish they expanded on this, because they never went there, but they say that Mia's mom, they never speak of her father. They say her mom went crazy. She died in a mental asylum, right? Mm-hmm. David says that she was deranged and a monster. Mm. Right? So I think what happened is Ash met whoever this person is, they started a family, and then of course the evil force found him and drew them back to the cabin, or maybe... he forgot about the cabin and he was drawn back. Oh, our family cabin, and they went a few times, right? It looked like into their teen years.
They would have had to remake that cabin because that's a nicer cabin than the original one.
Well, I mean, take that as you will, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. Now, this is what I was saying about the recording in Evil Dead 1. When Eric, the retarded teacher who cuts the book open and gets blood on it and starts reading everything out loud and is a fucking moron,
Exactly.
Also my favorite character in the movie, I thought he was going to be Ash. Because he just goes through an immense amount of punishment in that movie.
Holy shit, does he
Yes,
ever.
he does.
But while he's reading the ways to purify the demon from Mia, spoiler alert, because I have to say it every episode, when he reads that out loud, watch it again and listen, echoes of the original recording are playing in the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. It says something, I can't remember the exact passage. No, like it's the guy talking.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe that this has all happened before, and that recording exists before they get there, right?
Well,
So these things are happening after the events in Evil Dead.
Fede Alvarez has done something pretty clever in the remake where the book, it actually establishes certain events have to happen for this to work, and which is why so many similarities are happening.
Yeah.
And also to justify the remake aspects of it, it's actually in the book of these certain events, and I thought that was pretty clever to put in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think because Mia becomes Ash, basically, she's now
Ash.
the focal point. She was possessed. Mm-hmm. Ash got possessed in the second one and fought it off. She gets possessed in this one and fights it off with the help of David. David dies. Yeah. So there was something said, and I don't know if it was written this way or if she just said it this way, but when they're sitting together in the bedroom at first, she says, "My mom would ask for you." So what does that mean? Are David and Mia not actually blood related, and that's why David dies? So now Mia is cursed to relive everything that Ash went through. Because we don't know what happened to Ash because they never speak about his father.
I don't know. I sort of took that as a dig at David. I did. Because, like, he didn't come up. He didn't show back up at the house when she was ill.
Yeah, he
like,
wanted nothing to do.
But I would say that if like, my sibling didn't come, if my ill mother was there, like, yeah, my mom. I took care of my mom. Like, I just took that as a dig. I didn't take it as a separate mother.
Well.
I took it as, like, you bastard, you never came back.
I certainly like Jeff's take on this.
I do. I actually am quite enjoying this.
So the first time I watched this movie, and I saw it with a friend of mine, Chris Roberts, shout out, who was the one who showed me Evil Dead 2 in the first place. We went to see it opening night, loved it, of course, and right away we were like, that's Ash's kid, no question. And I was out with some horror movie friends, and we were talking about this movie. Comes up once in a while, and typically everybody hates it. And I just said casually, I'm like, it's not a sequel. It's not a remake, it's a sequel, and this is why. People
have such a knee-jerk reaction to hating remakes, and it kept this from happening for quite a while. And, but this is a solid remake.
As we've looked at some other movies, there's a lot of justification for that reaction a lot of the time.
And in some ways, I think this is a superior version, but it is handled in such a way where it's a soft continuation as well as having all those tropes of a remake. But they've merged everything in there to make sense.
It's
to operate on both levels.
You could really go places with it.
Yeah.
Like you've now set Mia up to continue this.
Well, I do have a counter theory.
I will say what I like about this is it establishes in the cold open the idea that this book is known about and that this evil exists and people are aware of it. And there's like, I wanted to find out more about that group of people who helped this father purge the evil from his daughter.
Right.
Like, I was kind of hoping they would show up at some point, and they do not.
Yeah, it was the cold open, and then you never see those guys again.
Like, just the fact that there's a culture or a group of people who are aware of it, I feel that would be a useful expansion of the universe. But it just gets dropped quite quickly.
Yeah. So I have a counter theory.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
And this kind of supports some of your stuff, but it's a divergent theory. I think the Evil Dead remake is a direct sequel to the original film. Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness are their own divergent story. It also explains, like, it's a different world. This is a different Ash. I don't think Ash in the original one survives, which is why the car's still there. If you keep Army of Darkness in the continuity, the car wouldn't even be there. It got sent back in time and used as a... crashed, and it got used as a carriage and all sorts of stuff. This happens to the classics. So, technically, it shouldn't be there. Of course, Ash likes the car, so he probably just keeps buying the same one over and over and over again. And as you established before the show, it's really expensive to find.
Oh my God.
$100,000.
Ash would have to be a really, really rich guy.
Yeah, I just recently, when Jason and I were talking about this last night, I said that I wanted to... it was my life's mission to get a 73 Oldsmobile Delta 88. So I just hopped on the old Auto Trader, and the only one I could find was a restored one for $100,000. So he's continually buying the same mustard yellow Delta 88.
Well, you can buy a Delta 88 and get it painted, but still, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
Yeah. So my theory is, and it kind of supports a lot of your stuff, is that Evil Dead 1 and the remake happen in the same universe, which is why they're so brutal and nasty. And then the number 2 and Army of Darkness happen more in that comedy cartoon world that Ash lives in that world. Now, it's just a theory, and Raimi has stated that he would like to have these two versions meet up, the remake version and Ash's version. Well, we've already established he world hops. In fact, I think in the Army of Darkness other cut,
yeah, like he's in the far-flung future.
Yeah,
and...
so, and if you guys
follow
the comics and things like that, that's established stuff. So, I think, at least for me, it would be cartoon Ash lands in this far more serious and visceral world and interacts with these I think more horrific demons and things like that, if it would ever happen. But for me, Evil Dead and the Alvarez remake are one universe, and then there's the cartoon universe that happens for 2 in Army of Darkness. Two separate things. But it also supports your theory with the car and everything else. And who's to say, maybe there isn't some sort of blood relation somewhere. But the book in the remake does establish certain events have to happen. But there's too many commonalities. Like the necklace looks the same, similar anyway. And it has more
falls in the same way.
Yeah, it's got that skull thing when it's found again, and it's in both things. There's lots of things in it that are taken directly from the original, and it's too much in common to just be a sequel. They've laced it in such a way where it's loosely part of the continuity, but it is more a remake and a reboot than a sequel for sure. How they're going to interweave this stuff, if ever, is going to be very interesting to watch in the future, and I don't know if they'll lead towards that in the Ash and Evil Dead television series starting in a few days on Halloween on Starz.
Yes, on Starz.
I'll plug it. We're not getting paid by Starz, but I'm excited for the series. At least event. I guess it's only about maybe.
But to be fair, like that whole thing with like the remake of it does help establish the idea that this evil has its own universe, which is how you can have a TV series, because Ash is now living where like it's not just a cabin in the middle of the woods that's affected by this. The evil has spread out farther than that.
Yeah.
So it's not, and it would make sense that that's what the evil would do. Like to think it just exists in those woods.
Well, and at the end of Army Darkness, he has the battle in the S-Mart. So, it does spread. So.
Yeah, which lends to my theory that he's like the focal point of it, right?
Yeah.
Like it follows him.
Yeah, and with at least my theory, because otherwise that book keeps landing back at that cabin, which would be kind of
But the only
crazy.
other part about 2 is the only flip on your one is that like it's a continuation. In the first one, the book does go into the fire, but it burns, doesn't it? And in the remake, it does not burn at all.
I don't think it does burn in the first one. I think it tries to put itself
throws
out.
It tries to put itself out, but it doesn't succeed.
Yeah. The demons actually start smoking as it's laying next to the fire.
Smoking, yeah.
And it's licking itself trying to get rid of the flames, but it can't.
Yeah, hard to say. When the fire goes out, maybe it rejuvenates itself.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe it was learning from the fire. And it was like, no, we're not going to die. We'll just rejuvenate.
Well, we know something about that. That book is tenacious at the best of times. So
yeah, it kind of does.
I do miss in the remake that it didn't have a face, but
yeah, the face would have been
bugged
good.
me a bit.
Well, it was more of a binder in the first one.
Yeah,
no pages or anything.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you've ever tried binding things in human flesh, but it's really hard to get the face to look right.
Yeah, keep sliding.
Is this a hobby of yours?
No.
No, is her eyes bouncing?
Not officially.
Like, I don't know, would you say hobby or just like a passing fancy? Semi-professional?
Well, let's run the trailer for the remake, and then we'll dive more back into this.
Mom would have hated seeing the cabin like this.
Oh, is that blood? What is this?
Shouldn't have touched anything from that basement.
Kunda. Strata. Montose. Kanda.
You are all going to die tonight.
I read a passage from that book. I released some evil. Oh my god! What the fuck did you do that?
Okay, well, that trailer always gets me, and especially when it splits her tongue with the blade. It's the remake's an intense remake. 2013, written and directed by Fede Alvarez. A screenplay was also written by Rodo Saguis. Sorry for butchering your names, because we all know Jason's terrible with names that are, foreign language names, but I don't even know if I'm pronouncing Fede right. But anyway, starring Jane Levy as Mia, Shiloh Fernandez as David, Jessica Lucas Olivia, Lou Taylor Pucci as Eric, Elizabeth Blackmore as Natalie, and Jim McClarty as Harold, who I don't even remember who Harold was, honestly.
Driving the truck?
I guess so. But the main characters, if you take all their first letters of their name, it spells demon. Ooh. And, of course, one of the most intense cold opens I've seen in a while. You got this scared girl running in the forest.
But it totally flips it on its head. I didn't see that, and I'm like,
you think
I
she's
like this.
Running from demons, and she gets captured by her own father and these residents, I guess, of this isolated area. I mean, one of these guys look like these mutated burn victim, or maybe straight out of Hills Have Eyes. I don't know what. Mm-hmm. But they've got her attached to a beam in the basement of the cabin, and
she's all tied up
to save her
Daddy,
soul.
What are you doing?
They have to burn her, so they light her on fire and then blow her head off.
Yeah, you got to purify the spirit before so we don't get dragged to hell.
Intense, and certainly sets the tone for the whole movie.
It does the whole thing. It's like, Dad, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And she just totally acts the scared victim the whole time until like it gets to the point where she's like, I'm going to eat your soul. And you're like, oh God, okay. Dad's not a mean guy. Dad's just trying to do what he needs to do.
Yeah, and basically thinks this is the only way to save the possessed.
Yeah.
Which is fair. It's because that crazy old lady only read so far.
Yeah.
Well, she's not even
like 2 more pages,
English,
you could have buried her. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what she was speaking,
Yeah, she wasn't speaking English, and like you say, it's like a whole kind of community of, like you say, like hillbilly, Hills Have Eyes type of people.
Yeah.
And it's not quite real. But yeah, I don't know. The way he did put her in the ground and dig her up, I don't think that's really implied in the book. I think the book is like you bury them and then you walk away.
Yeah, that whole, I don't know. It was just in a vehicle to get Mia back without mutilating her.
Without killing her.
Yeah.
Which was great. I mean, if you go into this movie cold, you don't expect her to be the one. Like
I didn't
she's
at
first
all.
possessed, and to come out the last survivor, the last girl. Like, oh my God, that's it's rare when I watch a movie and I'm surprised at the end. I'm like, holy shit, that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, like the brother, I thought he was like the Ash character.
She spends most of the movie terrorizing her friends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I really thought it was going to be the teacher, Eric, just because his character was most like Ash. Catalyzes everything like a dumbass.
Yeah.
And then it just like takes all the brutality you can throw at him and then some throughout the whole movie. And I just thought for sure we were lining up for him.
Oh, he's stabbed in the face repeatedly with a needle.
Yep.
And then it happens again with the nail gun. He's just like small punctures to death.
But when you like
the crowbar that splits his hand open.
But when you step back from it, though,
just
like
brutalized.
If you look at like how they've established that group of people together, where it's like Mia and her brother, like he is a sideline character. He wasn't an Ash.
No.
Well,
but Ash was a sideline character in the first one.
You get
not really.
You actually get the feeling they don't really like each other that much.
Well, no, there's something has happened in the past between those two. Like I don't know. Sibling relationships are hard, guys.
I think it's because Mia's a train wreck.
Well, Mia's a train wreck. Brother chose to abandon the family than deal with all of the craziness that's in the family, and her friends. You kind of view them the same way. Well, you walked out on her.
Yeah.
So they're trepidatious.
Well, to be fair, they also establish him as like they don't believe like they know he walked out on Mia, but they also include him as he walked out on them. They're like, we used to be friends, and where the hell did you go?
Yeah. So there's tension between all of them, like almost immediately. Yeah.
So he's trying to do something good for his sister. Like I don't know, you don't really establish why he's decided to do it at this point in time either.
Yeah, I get the feeling it was the last. They do make a statement within some of the dialogue that he's trying to patch things up and get closer to the family again.
Yeah, he's trying, but it doesn't really establish anything.
Yeah, Mama died, and only family left. So
Dad's off fighting the army of darkness,
according to Jeff.
Yeah.
You never know. I
allegedly.
I actually like that a little bit. That's kind of a delightful thing. But the thing about this movie, what's great is like I think you can come into this not having seen the prior Evil Dead, and you are fine.
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You
like,
do not
this
have to.
is fucking intense.
It's
and then
a
you watch
standalone
Evil Dead 2
movie,
and you're like, the hell. Like,
Yeah,
imagine
it is-
going back. It'd
This
be like,
is
oh.
not for people with queasy stomachs, although that would
Yeah.
be certainly fun to watch.
See, but you know, here's part of it was weird. Like, and we were talking about this before. Like, you're
Yeah.
saying, like, the first Evil Dead was video nasty, but I'm looking at this one, the remake of it. The gore of it made me more uncomfortable because it looked more realistic.
Sure.
The gore of the previous
These
one
guys
I
had a
didn't
much
feel so
bigger
bad
budget.
about because it looked really weird
Well, I
and
mean,
unnatural.
it is-
so it's easy to disassociate.
90,000 versus 17 million.
No, not even that. Like, it's the bits like where he's like the one guy, the teacher, is like smashing his friend's head with like part
With
of
the
a porcelain
toilet?
sink.
Yeah.
And it's just like that disturbs me. That disturbs me in a real way.
Disturbed
Yeah.
him too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How could
And,
somebody do that to themselves?
and I think that was an important thing to do, like,
Yeah.
to have that reaction. Some of these movies just concentrate on the kill and don't look at the reaction to the characters and how it affects them. And it is a fairly unrelenting film, but they do give, even the briefest amount of time, this moment of pause to really process what's going on.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what did you do? And it's like, well,
Yeah.
And they
she's
do
cut
it in
her
the
face.
original Evil Dead as well.
They do, yeah.
That movie's like half gore and half reaction shots, basically.
Yeah, and they're
And
at
the guy
no
that
point-
breaks the whole time is Ash.
Yeah.
He really struggles throughout that movie until he gets thrown through the third bookshelf, then he comes around.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple times I'm watching I was
thought
watching
that
the
was
recent
a-
one. I'm like, oh, damn, how long does it take you to get up, Ash?
I find
Come on.
like, especially modern Bruce, and as much as I love Bruce, can be a bit of a stiff actor, and I think this is much of a kid as he looks in this thing,
Yeah.
and his noodly unibrow.
Yeah.
He gives a really good performance in the
Oh, for
original.
sure.
Really good
Yeah.
performance.
That was one of the things I remember as a teenager going from Evil Dead 2 to Evil Dead 1 is that Bruce Campbell wasn't a big enough part. And that bothered me because I loved him. Like, I mean, basically the second movie is him for 3/4 of it.
Yeah.
And then
Most
you
of
get
it, yeah.
the ragtag people just to become Deadites or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But everything happens to Ash kind of solo. And he is, again, even 6 years older and in better shape, so the physicality of his role is way crazier.
Oh, yeah.
The plate sequence is brilliant.
I love
fucking
that.
love that.
I
was
watched
really
that
hoping
so much.
for it when, in the new one, when the girl, the blonde girl,
Me too.
when she goes into the kitchen to get the sugar and water, I thought for sure
Yeah.
we'd have like a moment when her hand where she would
Yeah, I
maybe
thought-
smash something.
Yeah, I
just
thought
as a
Natalie
nod.
would
Natalie,
do
yeah.
that before she, the rot
Or like it
overtakes
attacks her.
hand.
She doesn't even have to do the dishes. Like just like Ash gets punched in the face by the hand a few times.
Yeah.
In the original one, and I kind of like the change where it's like she's the one who has the hand demon. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is kind of fun. I
She's
like this
the
change.
most sympathetic person in the movie that gets turned into a Deadite in my mind. I just feel
Yeah.
bad for her. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, she's
the
wrong
shit
place,
end
wrong
everything.
time.
Yeah, she's kind of just floating around, but at the same time, she's looking after everybody, and
And she doesn't even get
poor
a
girl.
chainsaw to take off her arm. She gets
Who
like the
even
little
has an electric
tiny
carving
electric
knife?
carving knife.
Well, they said they haven't been used that cabin in a while,
I
so
guess,
it'd probably
yeah.
been sitting in a drawer for ages. But and that's the thing.
That's what she's
you texted
stuck
me
with.
last night. Who has an electric carving knife? And I go, my parents. So there you go.
That's better than what I would have said. I would have said the 80s.
70s. Did you see that thing?
Yeah.
Was that
it
mustard
was
yellow
vintage.
and-
It was
yeah.
totally
It was
vintage. You
vintage.
could never buy an electric
They probably
knife
bought
now.
it at Goodwill. They're like, hey.
But like, think about this. Like, you've used those electric carving things. How good are they through bone, guys? Not good at all.
Well, and
That little bit of skin at the
when
end.
they
eh?
walk in and it just kind of
it just drips off. Oh, that's so good.
God.
But you know what? That's the one thing I would have changed. But I was disappointed that she actually changed at the end of that. I wanted her to be not a Deadite. I wanted that to work.
Yeah.
It'd have been cool if she'd have gone to
I mean,
become the hero character or whatever, but she really doesn't. She gets
Or
it worse than
even
anybody.
just a supported other character, like be like just not have the like help the hero do it even then. Like
yeah, what's
something.
the girl in Evil Dead 2? What's her name again? Who lives through it all and then gets knifed in the back?
oh, I actually didn't even write down her name.
Yeah, I
so
can't remember her
I don't
name
remember.
anymore.
Yeah.
Barbara Jo is the other one. She gets.
Is she the researcher?
Mama Joe, where are you, girl?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She's the one who gets tree raped.
I love the change between
beaten.
the 1 and 2s of the originals. Is like the first one is like a group of like 5 people, but they all really know each other. And then the 2 where they expanded on a few things and like changed a few things. They made strangers come in that were unrelated to the other characters
with the girlfriends. So.
And I really kind of liked that. I liked having to establish a group mentality when you are not an established group.
Yeah.
It
established more conflict between the characters.
But I have to say, with this one too, I love a horror movie where they have a sibling pairing.
Right.
I'm a big fan of that. I feel like you can't lean too much on like romantic interests. I like a sibling pairing.
Yeah, you're more likely to. I mean, even in Evil Dead 1, where Scott has lost his girlfriend, and the other one's a demon in the basement, and Linda's like injured now with the leg injury. And Ash is like, we got to get everybody out of here. Linda can't walk. And Scott's like, fuck you guys. Everybody here, it's not my problem. And I'm going to take off.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, Ash is like, oh, poor Scott. Come sit on the couch. It'll be fine. He's got like half his arm sticking out of his skin. But yeah, just like, with a sibling pair, you wouldn't get that. Right?
No.
And Scott's a piece of shit, and Ash shouldn't have taken him back in. I'd have kicked him out the door. But
no, yeah, because at that point, like what Ash has seen is like when somebody's messed up that bad, they're turning full demon.
Yeah,
he knows that by that point.
You never go full demon.
You never go full demon.
Yeah, so then poor what's-her-face there, Natalie, like, she gets disarmed again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the nail gun is like,
oh, and she's
right away.
standing there, and there's like the one arm's gone, and then they've cut off the other one now.
I know.
Oh, good.
And she's like, my face hurts, because they release her briefly.
Oh,
right?
and it's that her death is so tragic because she actually shakes it right before she dies.
I think it's the demons. I think they do it.
They just let her go.
They let him go.
They want to make him feel the suffering and pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely part of what they're going through. They need, what would the book say, 5 sacrifices or whatever, 5 souls to raise the demon, which is possessing Mia at the time.
But like I say, I just wish the cutting off would have worked like it did last time.
Yeah. Well, we get a different hand sequence at the end of the film.
Yeah, way more brutal hand sequence.
Holy shit, right?
Yeah, that was a grisly effect. Like, that was a practical effect for sure.
Yeah, like...
And that was like a classic, like, Savini Day of the Dead, like...
Pulls her
skin
hand
tear.
off. It's not... I thought she was going to... Even having seen it before, actually, even the second time, I'm thinking she's going to reach the chainsaw. She doesn't get to it.
No.
So, like, it kind of, in a way, both movies ends. Like, you got the... crazy unseen force that comes in on Ash near the end of at the end of the film, the original film, and this one, Mia's, after defeating everything, she's standing there, and I'm like, well, girl's gonna fucking bleed out.
Yeah,
that's what I kept thinking.
To walk over to the cabin on fire and just cauterize that
that's
shit.
That's exactly what I thought.
I thought she would too. That would have been. I think that was a missed opportunity.
If the other Evil Dead in 127 hours have taught us, we're going to bleed out if you don't take care of that.
Yeah, I thought she'd walk up and do that. Just like one more brutally gory scene.
But what's terrible is like that whole time I'm watching that sequence, I'm like, I know that thing's after you, but that's pretty like wet, goopy ground. You could like dig your hand out from underneath that.
Yeah,
she was panicking.
Sure.
So there isn't a whole lot in the 2013 sequel of Evil Dead that I didn't like. The one thing I didn't like was the physical manifestation right away of the demon. Like, you have the demon that kind of basically mirrors Mia.
Yeah.
And then you get the actual physical
That's actually the nod to
For sure.
Evil Ash versus Ash, which actually was Army of Darkness. But
no, but it didn't have to show up that early.
No.
I don't think it needed to show up at all. Like, I liked, like, even in Evil Dead 2, when you see it, it's just for a split second,
that giant head in the door, and
then Ash's hair goes white.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was exhibiting some restraints. I was kind of surprised that they went in that direction, but at the same time, I got what they were trying to do. So it was a nod more to the franchise.
I really liked it, but like it worked in that movie.
Sure.
But as an Evil Dead movie,
It's
I
this
liked the
battle
unknown force.
between self.
And it also wasn't a tree invasion. as it were.
Well, it was
And the
like
other
a
thing-
branch.
It was.
Well, no, but like
At least
wasn't
it was lubricated
but was,
this time.
Yeah,
It
true.
was this
but wasn't it
puked
with
up-
the puke that came out and became that thing that slid up
Yeah,
like a
out
Yeah.
of
snake?
the physical manifestation that mirrored Mia's evil side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
Evil-
away.
evil comes in your vagina, ladies and gentlemen.
Even before.
Yeah.
That's right.
Story of my
She
life.
said that. I did not.
That's what
Evil
I
comes
can
in
do
your
that.
vagina.
Yeah.
No. That's how it enters, guys. Protect your vaginas, ladies. This is how it goes wrong.
But the whole film is this allegory that Fede's done. Is she's battling her own inner demons already
Yeah.
prior to these
Outer demons.
this black magic demons coming. So now she's fighting a battle on 3 fronts.
Yeah.
Fuck the DTs. That gets you over drugs real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The adrenaline's got her so hopped up she pulled her own hand off.
Holy
For sure.
fuck. So, and yeah, I think that was a clever allegory that goes over a lot of people's heads, and I think that people who shit on this movie probably haven't seen the movie at all.
Yeah, that's
know.
probably true. Where they went in and they're like, "Well, Bruce Campbell's not in it, so it's not good." It's
You
like,
just gotta
well,
wait to the end of the credits,
There's lots
guys.
of
Yeah.
movies that Bruce Campbell's in that are shitty.
Yes,
So,
Congo.
like
Yeah.
Congo, he's great in Congo.
Actually, he's the best part
He's
of
the
Congo.
He's the only good part of Congo.
Yeah, that's why I say there's plenty of shitty movies that he's in, but he was the best.
But the
part
man
of
with
Congo.
2 screaming veins. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Older Bruce has been a little less
Escape from
exciting.
LA. He's the best part of that.
Bruce had to. I think I just watched all of Burn Notice recently, and I thought he started off really stiff on that series, and once he settled into the role, he was quite good. So
Yeah.
sometimes you just you need to settle in, and there's a quicker production time on television stuff. So
Well, I think Ash is so much of Bruce. Like, it's not much of a character. Like, I think Sam was just like,
Yeah.
do what you do, right? And
Yeah.
let him have it. So that's why it's so natural. But yeah, anyone who shits on this movie, watch it again with your head out of your own ass so you can see the screen.
yeah.
And you'll really like it. Like,
But it's
a solid movie.
and I can see why the people who are fans of this franchise generally are fans of Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
It's usually not the first film. It's kind of the forgotten bastard child.
Yeah. Well, you got your horror hipsters who
Well,
are
you
like,
know-
well, nothing good was made after
So
82.
Well,
it's a
here's-
very
yeah.
different type of movie. So you go into this one and holy shit, yeah, it is.
Well, as you'd
Intense.
established, like to get financing, they made a short to make Evil Dead 1. Evil Dead 1, I feel, is the movie they made to get to Evil Dead 2. Like, because Evil Dead 2 seems to be like more like, oh,
Sure.
this is what we always wanted to do with this.
And, it's amazing that they even did Evil Dead 2, considering the nightmare of a shoot the first one was, that anybody would want to come and do it again. But
Well, no one did. It was just Bruce.
it's true.
Just Bruce,
Just
yeah.
Bruce, but he had a stake in it after
He
that,
had a
and he
stake in it.
continues to do so. He was
True.
producer on this one as well.
Yeah,
Actually,
he
it
has a
was
stake. Both him and Sam.
Yeah,
Anyway.
him, Sam, and original producer Rob Talpert were all involved in the remake. And I like that Sam Raimi handpicked Alvarez for the directing
Oh, for sure.
gig.
Yeah, based
Go-
off a short, right?
Based off a short called Panic Attack. Guys,
Yeah.
go to YouTube and look this up. I'm not even going to attempt to tell you what the Spanish name is, because you thought I butchered people's names. That's going to be far worse. But the English title is Panic Attack. And he's done some other shorts, but this is the one that got him noticed by Raimi. And it's essentially this robot alien invasion. It's really cool.
Nice.
And you can certainly see the CG roots that Alvarez comes from, and then completely ignores when he gets to this movie, which I completely respect. And I'm really looking forward to what
Where's
his next
Alvarez
feature
from?
was. I do believe he's a Mexican director.
Mexico, yeah.
I don't know. He could be
There's
from
lots
Spain,
of
but I'm
great
pretty
people
sure
who are
it's from
coming out of
Mexico.
there.
Guillermo del Toro is one of my
Yeah.
favorite directors. So
You haven't gone to see Crimson Peak yet to get.
I might
completely
go
off
next
topic,
week.
but-
So
well, let me know because I
I
want
will.
to see it too.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
A couple friends of mine are like just raving about it, but they say that it's a ghost story, not a horror movie. So
Well,
don't go in expecting a horror.
I'm going in thinking gothic,
like
ghost
the
story.
Orphanage or Devil's Backbone. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly. And I've seen all those movies, so that's kind of what I'm expecting. Going back to some of the earlier work he's done, but yeah. So I'm really looking forward to see what Alvarez does next. I mean, we're a couple
Yeah.
years now out from this film, and he's done a few more shorts and he's done a little bit of television, but no new feature yet. So I'm hoping we'll see something else from him before he does a sequel to this. They do plan to do a sequel to this one as well.
I heard a pretty good story. I think it was from our local Comic-Con a couple years ago when Bruce Campbell came, and he did a Q&A, and some girl stood up and was just like, how do you feel about Evil Dead, because it was such a horrible piece of garbage and blah, 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 blah.
I was there.
And he's like...
Yeah, we were there.
Were you there?
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I produced that.
Yeah. Funny. Like,
hey, chick, if you're going to ask a question, do some research.
Yeah, and it's probably...
And that applies to anybody, not just women.
Like, you can't, as a horror fan, watch that movie and dislike it.
No,
like,
I watched that movie, and I think... John Carpenter thing. Like, this is such an imaginative remake while still playing lots of homage to the original film, and there is plenty of homage in this film.
It's endless. Yeah,
it's endless.
Well, I think that's the problem.
It's not obvious.
I don't know. I think that's part of the problem. Like, I think why people are like, it's such a terrible movie, it's an awful remake, is because they're thinking of it as a remake.
Yeah.
It's not quite.
No,
it doesn't fit.
They're new characters.
New characters. They're establishing a new thing. There's even kind of more new stuff with the book, because I don't remember all the rules being in the first one.
Yeah, and that was brilliant to put all that stuff in there, and suddenly explains why all this shit's happening again.
Yeah.
It's because the book wants it to happen.
If you think of it as a remake, it's a terrible remake. Yeah. When you think of it as like a continuation or like a new reboot of a movie, it is a really good movie. Or even just
really
as a standalone movie, it's a good movie.
Jeff's theory of Ash's continuous hell. Like, if it's trying to manifest itself and it needs to go through all these little beats to do it, okay, we need the sacrifices, it needs to happen a certain way, we need the burning of the boiling water, and I'm like, oh my god, everything is there. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, that movie was definitely like the Alvarez or whatever his name is. Sorry if I was screwed up. He really loves those movies. You can tell when it comes through in this. Like, and I was waiting for somebody to retort with me about my theory about the continuous hell and this being a sequel.
I didn't think about it, but I like it.
They do a little bit of fan service at the end with Ash.
Yes.
And that's all that is.
And absolutely.
It's just fan service.
And that is him reaching beyond the veil or whatever. Yeah. However you want to look at it. It's just there to appease the fan base that went there in the first place. And of course, the initial audience that goes into this movie is going to go hoping for more of what they love. It's a very different thing, and I can certainly understand people's reaction, but I was in that initial first week audience. Actually, I might even had screeners, and when the audience that stuck around post-credit, when they got that, just went apeshit with Ash, and then suddenly their imaginations go wild. Oh, does he exist in this crazy,
it's one of those credit
world
sequences where you're like, oh, something's going to happen at the end of this. It's got to happen, and you just
that's so common now. I just wait. I'm that guy who watches
I don't
credits
always.
Anyway.
Yeah, me
so
too.
It's nice to have something at the end to reward me for sitting there.
People are getting... I was reading people are getting upset that they're going to throw something in on the new Star Wars movie post-credit. And, you can't do that. It's not...
That's weird, because Disney Studios never does that.
Marvel.
You know what? I'm sorry, but as a child, I would have loved to have seen something at the end of Empire.
Yeah. Well, that's like getting... I just don't get it. It's like ordering a pizza, and then they give you an extra slice. You're going to turn down a free extra... You're going to turn down more Star Wars? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? And I'm sorry, end credit stuff has existed long before Marvel did it.
Yeah.
Oh, as we talked about the stuff.
Yeah.
There was an end credit season and Trick or Treat, I think.
Trick
or Treat.
Hey,
end
so
credit stuff is a long time ago, guys. It's been around for a long time. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
The entire end credit the entire credits are an end credit sequence.
And this is a throwaway little bit. It's not important to the film at all, but just to make those Ash fans happy, and thanks Bruce Campbell for doing that. Just because he certainly didn't have to.
I think
it's not needed.
Part of it was it's because of the name, and it's because people thought it was supposed to be like a remake, and it's the problem with it. It's is people want to see like the 2 and the 3. They want to see that campy comedic stuff, but it's more closely modeled on the first one anyway. So it is more faithful in its own
in a
respect.
way, I really appreciate that little bit because it suddenly goes, you see Ash there, and you feel okay a bit after this intense roller coaster ride that just leaves you shaking. It is a deeply disturbing film.
Yeah, it doesn't even have a satisfying ending.
No, she's going to bleed to death on the way back.
Yeah,
She'll cauterize it. That'll be the opening of Evil Dead 2. She'll
well, no. Bruce will come by and cauterize it and then take her back into
Mia's
town.
brother's the one that gets brutalized the least. You know, he self-sacrifices to stop.
He gets off fairly light.
Yeah, to stop Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Demon Eric anyway, after he got brutalized, like, oh my God.
I have to say, they brought back the nail gun. The nail gun hasn't really had a resurgence since
Honestly,
like the 90s.
Since Nail Gun
the one
Massacre.
thing Alvarez
Or the Lethal Weapon.
Alvarez successfully gives you the one thing I think everybody was waiting for was that chainsaw.
Yeah.
And that's more Evil Dead 2 because the chainsaw's in one, but it's not.
Oh, it's not really used.
It's not really used. Whereas this one, it's there. It is. It's laying there. Her last weapon. She's trapped under the car. Rips off her hand. Grabs the chainsaw. Kind of uses her stump in the handle to give her extra leverage, and it's just all that little bit, just this wonderful homage to the original, and then bam, or to the second one.
How did she get it started?
She had pre-started it.
She pre-started it?
Yeah,
it was sitting running because she was brilliant and shouldered that shelf and dropped the gas into her hand. So that was like a really slick moment.
It's because I couldn't really hear it over everything that was happening.
All
like
the
even when a
screaming.
chainsaw is running, you won't see the blades going, but you'll hear it running.
Oh, it was like murmuring.
I didn't hear it.
When it's idling, it's
Yeah, I didn't hear much of it. Like you just need a little bit of an idle sound because that's why I got it.
And like the Silent Hill sirens in the last.
That was
kind of a weird choice.
I got it, but that was I thought that was a weird choice to put the Silent Hill sirens. That actually popped me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you immediately think Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Or at least, if you're like a big horror guy, you think.
I don't know if that was Alvarez's homage moment to another film.
Mm-hmm.
Like that film's not a great movie, but visually it's stunning.
Oh, it's a beautiful movie. Terrible content, but beautiful to look at.
Yeah, it's just design-wise, it is an amazing-looking film. It's one of those things you run silent in the background.
Yes, I like those two movies. They're fun.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're fun for the sake of fun. I found like that's the second Silent Hill movie was like as close an adaptation of those movies as we've ever gotten. Like it was almost the third movie or the third game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that moment with the sirens. As far as like the soundtrack and the sound design in the new movie, that was the only moment that really stuck out. Everything else was pretty par for the course. Mm-hmm. And I noticed rewatching Evil Dead that the sound design in that is really imaginative and really helps to set a tone and suspense and really drives the film.
Yeah.
A lot better than in 2013.
Yeah, they had a different musician for this film.
Not even a score. Just like
just the
noises
sound effects.
and
Just
the
the sound.
chanting.
Like when you hear it going...
Yeah.
It is a very layered sound design for sure.
And they try to do it a little bit like in the woods where it's like Mia and it's like echoes away or whatever. But
I did miss I would have liked a little bit of the cheesy whoa.
Yeah.
That following
but that's from
force
2.
thing. Yeah.
That's not
and
in
then
the
again
first
that's not in the first one either.
Yeah,
they do the tracking shot, but they don't
Yeah, they don't add
have that sound.
That rumbling, yeah.
They do have the rumbling at the end of one though.
Yeah, as it's
getting
up.
Ash, they do bring that in.
Yeah.
That's the end of the film. They do have that coming in.
And you get it a little bit in the 2013 one when Mia comes back from her tree orgy and she's like hammering on the door and it's coming to get her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something about that cartoony sound effect that I really enjoyed.
Just that movie.
You remake Godzilla, you gotta have the classic roar.
Yeah.
You just have to.
I'm gonna have my hipster moment with Evil Dead. I remember when I was in high school, so like 96 or 97, of course, being obsessed with Evil Dead. In my broadcasting class, Fridays we would watch a movie and like they would discuss like whatever bullshit high school crap, right? So I brought in Evil Dead 2. And no one had heard of it. No one in my class of like 40 people had ever heard of it. And I watched...
You were after the cutoff, that's why.
I don't know. Like, no one knew what it was in my generation. And, like, for me and my friends, like, literally every weekend. No joke. So I brought this in, and everyone just sat there with their arms crossed. And I remember this girl Sarah, who's in the band Tegan and Sarah, she was like, "How many times have you seen this?"
Good band too.
Yeah, awesome.
So I went to high school with her. Fun fact: my brush with stardom. We're not close. Anyway, so she was like, "How many times have you seen this?" And I'm like, "Far too many times to be healthy." And everybody was just like, "That was fucked up."
Enough, it'll probably come up in a court case.
Yeah, probably. And then you know what? And like 5 or 6 years later, all of a sudden it gets this big cult revival, or I don't know. Everybody started discovering
I think it
wonder
was
what the catalyst was.
Well, the original film had to slow. It was a sleeper movie because it barely made its budget in its original opening, and then suddenly did better and better and better over a longer period of time, and then made some good coin.
When I was in university, there was like a whole big resurgence, like Army of Darkness. People loved that movie. And so on the back of Army of Darkness, I think that's where Evil Dead 2 got a lot of traction. Evil Dead 1 wasn't really part of it, but I remember being like in university and people like, oh yeah, like Evil Dead. And that's...
Oh yeah, when I discovered Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness wasn't even a thing yet. And it was still one of those closeted movies.
No
like,
one really talked about
the people who saw it loved it, and those are the people who would recommend it. But it wasn't overly talked about, you know. Somebody would mention Even Dead, don't watch the first one, just go straight into the second one.
And when did when did Army of Darkness come out? 93, I feel?
I'm not sure, but that sounds about right.
Early 90s.
So
that was another one I went to a screener for,
and
I was totally excited for it by the time I'd seen it, because I'd watched Evil Dead a gazillion times. I mean, these movies were a long way apart.
1992.
92.
Yeah,
so
okay.
The year I graduated.
It would have existed when I was big into Evil Dead 2. So even like my generation of like, my age group in that 96, 97 time period, no one knew what it was. I just thought it was bizarre.
Yeah.
I also brought in Fire and Ice, and no one knew what that was either. And I was like, fuck, you guys need to watch some movies.
I know.
Yeah, I'd say Army of Darkness really cemented it as a cult thing. Yeah, because it's so over the top with the catch lines and everything else. And Ash, again, he's a different character in every film.
Totally.
Yeah. Like in this one, he's like in Army of Darkness, he's like a jaded, oh yeah, like I fought evil, seen it all type of deal.
You can kind of see that transition in the second one, but it's he's a very different person by the third one. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And that looks like to be the character that's going to be in the TV show.
Oh, for sure.
That cynical, whatever. I don't know.
I fought evil, baby.
For the first time today because I've been avoiding it, and I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think most of us just want to see more Ash. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. There's some unique-looking demons again, which
that's cool.
It looks like it has a higher budget than any of the movies ever did. And in a way, that bothers me a little bit because it doesn't look like it'll mesh up. Like...
It'll be like that video game.
Well, I think here's the thing. It's like I think it's looking back as like Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. Those were years and years and years ago. So now it's now. And now it's going to look a little different. Well, now the evil has come a little ways.
Yeah. Well, let's run the trailer for Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Starz, you're welcome. This is premiering in a couple days on Halloween on Starz, so go check it out on your local cable provider or satellite provider, whatever.
My uncle is a shaman. When I was a kid, he would say, evil is always waiting in the shadows, and only one man would rise to stand against it.
Yeah, looking sweet. Pablo, music. Here's the plan. There must be some spell I can say to undo this BS once and for all. Well, that sucked pretty hard. Yo, Granny. Let's go. If we get this done quick enough, we might have time to stop for churros. That's not a racist thing, Pablo. That's just a great dessert.
You know I'm not Mexican, right?
That's the spirit.
All right, so yeah, Halloween night
Woohoo!
On Starz, so check that out. I'm looking forward to it regardless of how it plays. I mean, I think it's 6-8 episodes or whatever.
Because honestly, let's be honest. Let's be real honest here. Like, as much as you can say about how it might not look that great, it looks about 100% better than a lot of crap that you saw on TV right now. I'm sorry.
You know, no matter if people start shitting on this for any reason, you guys demanded it. It happens like every time Campbell's at a convention or whatever. There's at least one, probably 1,000, who want more Evil Dead. They've been demanding it from him over and over and over again, and God knows he probably never actually wanted to go back to this.
Well, he had said,
doesn't
he have a book called Don't Call Me Ash?
No, but he should.
Isn't it Call Me Bruce or something like that?
No, that's a movie.
I know that he was quite against that character. I remember, like, when he was here for Comic Expo, I went to meet him, of course, and had an armful of Evil Dead stuff, and thinking in the back of my mind, that he's like, I'm not Ash, don't typecast me, but he was happy to talk about it and stuff. And
well, it's a big part of his life, for sure, but when you get typecast as a character so early in your career, it's got to be a bit frustrating, but, Captain Kirk and everybody else is
well, you can ask Daniel Radcliffe.
And it's not like Bruce hasn't been busy. I mean, he's okay. Well, everybody wants him to be Ash or Autolycus, or I would love more Briscoe County, but he's an actor. He wants to do more roles, and I get that absolutely. Well, I've done that a few times. Let me do something else, and I'm always looking forward to what the next thing is. I actually liked it when he played himself in a movie.
Oh yeah, that one with My Name is Bruce. That's it.
And I quite enjoyed that. I think he wrote that as well. So I go ahead and do different things.
Well,
he had a great run. Burn Notice ran for 7 seasons or whatever it was.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
So, I think it was buried in Canada on one of those cable networks.
Yeah, not one of the high-end nets.
No, I never found it, and everybody kept telling me who had that station, told me how good it was. I'm like, oh. And then I bought the box set off Amazon, because, Amazon every now and again has something so cheap that you just have to get it anyway. Yeah, so I got that all 7 seasons for a ridiculously low price, and I really enjoyed it. It was I ordered it blind and had a lot of fun with that series. So, he's doing some more Ash, but I'm looking forward to whatever comes after Ash.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's how I stumbled into Briscoe County. I had no idea that was a thing.
Oh,
I was reading his book.
Briscoe County's great.
And, I was reading his book, and he talks about it and having to show up at malls on horses and stuff. And then a couple weeks later at the flea market, I found the whole series for $5. So did I say no?
Yeah. That series died way too early on the vine.
See,
it was so good.
I like with the thing with
steampunk western guys.
An actor like Bruce Campbell, though, like I look for stuff with him in it, and I know what I'm getting when I get him. Basically, like I have an understanding, and that's what I expect.
It's got that over the top charm that Army of Darkness and Evil Dead have as well. But yeah, I'd definitely go seek that out. If you're a fan of that kind of material, then you're not going to be disappointed in it.
Yeah, there's more Bruce out there, guys.
There's
more
his
Bruce.
Best role, of course, is the Doorman in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, it's like the human spider. That's awful. Spider-Man.
He's the only villain who defeats Spider-Man
multiple times.
Yeah.
Like when he's telling him to fix
he always gets one over,
tie and then turns him away.
Yeah, he's always gets one over on poor Peter Parker. So it's a short cameo, but he always.
You remember his cameos.
Yeah.
You do.
And that's the thing about Raimi, he's always got the classic in his movies. Bruce is usually somewhere. If he can do it. Yeah. He's usually somewhere. So
yeah, the Raimis like to keep a stable, like they have their group they like to hang around with.
And I'm very much looking forward to Lucy Lawless.
It's like a Joss Whedon type of thing where it's like he knows who he likes.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Lucy Lawless being in this.
I know.
From Raimi's Xena series, and she's going to be the female Bruce Campbell. So
I know.
In this, the female Ash. So yeah,
we'll see. In a year and a half when it gets released on video, I'll be able to see it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I got to dig because we don't have Starz, so I'll have to see if it simulcasts on another station. So
yeah, I don't know what the rules are, what they have on here in Canada for that.
Yeah. And who knows? I can wait and sit and wait till Netflix or box set or whatever, because I've been blessed with all sorts of the new deliveries now, where I kind of just like to watch things at my own pace now. And
not one of those people who's like, I remember in the olden days we used to have to wait for shows to come out on a certain time, and we couldn't. We'd have to watch them on the television at that particular time.
Yeah,
there was no recording it or watching it later either.
Yeah. Slave to television. That's why I don't have TV. Fight the power. TV free since 99.
Okay, so anything else you guys want to add about these movies, specifically the two?
Yeah, I don't know. All I can say about the series is that it was like a game-changing movie for me when I was a teenager. It was defined my taste forever, probably for the worse.
And I think that's what Alvarez sought to do in this one too. Is again, let's redefine this again, and it did very well. For its $17 million budget, it did almost $100 million worldwide. So
yeah, it did really well.
And the original Evil Dead was 90,000, almost 100,000, and did a little over $1 million worldwide. So
the return on investment on these movies is insane.
Yeah. So
I think the post 2010 era, or maybe post 2005 even, horror genre movies. I challenge you to stack that beside whatever you think is the best one and tell me that it's in. And if you're there's not a lot of really solid horror.
As modern horror's gotten a bit wishy-washy right now.
Yeah.
I love horror, but getting a little tired of these PG ghost movies that have been coming out. Some of them are quite good. I'm not knocking them, but
here's the thing: I've always loved a good ghost movie is great if you can make a good one.
Now. Yeah.
But you have to have no, I don't think they're good ones. The really good ones are when your mind goes running away from you and it's not happening. And then you have the torture porn.
Yeah.
Again, that doesn't do it for me.
That's finally dying off a little bit, though.
Oh, yeah, torture porn's pretty much
but stuff like this, I mean, there's hardcore gore, but it's sort of...
Oh, the first one's a splatter film.
It's fearful and naturalistic, so there's supernatural elements.
It is still a splatter movie. The first one was as well. And
I like the not knowing what the thing is. Even in this one, it's still it's just evil, and the book tells you about all this evil.
Yeah, despite being a remake, you it keeps you off balance, and it never goes exactly the way you think it is, and that's everything I want out of a remake. Be imaginative, be different, tell your own story, and at the same time, he pays a ton of homage, more than I probably would have ever done in a remake, and still manages to keep it his own. So, right now, I think, people just hear remake and it's a dirty word, and that's one of the reasons why we do this show, to point out the bad ones and point out the good ones. And, I think in its own right, it'll get its cult status down the road as well. I mean, cult movies don't happen overnight.
No.
So.
Yeah,
and it stands out in a crowd of horror movies and even the modern horror remakes. I think it stands right on top of the heap by far.
Yeah, I think don't go into this thinking Evil Dead remake. Go into it just thinking of it as a movie. You will enjoy it that way.
Totally.
You can't hang on to that other stuff.
Yeah,
it takes some of the greatest elements of it and brings it into this movie.
When we go watch these movies, we always watch them as the movie was intended to be. Its own entity, and when it's trying to be something else, that's when a movie tends to fail. When it's trying to be too much the original, it will falter regardless. Because
we're looking at you, Psycho.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you don't actually want a shot-for-shot remake. It never works.
No, well, if you're not Hitchcock and not understanding the intention of Hitchcock and what he was trying to do, and just do the same thing, it's just insulting. Why? The only new thing in that whole movie outside of new actors is him wanking while he's looking through the hole.
Yeah, the only great thing that you can learn from that particular movie is that there's somehow, in some instances, a magical thing that kind of just comes together when you get all the elements right. And it will work perfectly. But you can try and take it and recreate it using a recipe, and it'll just suck because you're missing an ingredient and you don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've got all of the little pieces, but you don't have the instruction manual or whatever, and it doesn't work. You just, shoot from the hip and make it your own. And Alvarez certainly did it. And
that's how Evil Dead started. It was just like a gonzo from the hip, struggled and fought to just make a movie.
Yeah.
They just wanted to make something scary and a horror movie. And the other part of it too, which I really enjoyed from the first one, is there's stuff where you don't sometimes they show a bit too much in this one. That's the only thing I will say. Too much show, whereas the original was your mind's just going to have to fill in the blanks.
And he didn't go. I mean, for a guy who's got roots in CGI and stuff, he chose not to go the easy road, and that is something I will always admire from this guy. he worked hard to make it look, the practical effects, and make it look like it's all on screen. And there's little touches of CG here and there, enhancement, but for the most part, everything's like right there on screen. And my God, it is far more disturbing for it. So.
Yeah, if you thought there was a lot of blood in the first Evil Dead, you
don't even know.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably talk about this for days, but for our audience, you can add in and chime in on our social media. We're at Invasion Remake on Twitter, Invasion of the Remake over on Facebook, and Invasion of the Remake at gmail.com if you want to email us directly and tell us what we missed. And God knows we missed a lot. Like we could point out every little comparison here, and with this episode, we kind of were more in love with this movie and talked about how it made us feel. And at the end of the day, the franchise has disturbed us. It's made us laugh and, energized us and has us bouncing around the room. And everybody, I think, at one point, faked a chainsaw in their hands or whatever.
Oh, for sure. Or faked that, like you had a disembodied hand going, just to attack your friend.
The twitching hand. Everybody did that in drama class. The losing control of their hand. Everybody's done that. So anybody who's been a fan of these films has done that. So.
Yeah. But I like the idea.
Easiest cosplay ever.
Yeah. Blue work shirt, check.
Yeah.
Caro syrup, check. Yeah.
Love the idea that's a universe too. I like that theory.
Oh God, washing all that Caro syrup off of you. My God.
This also wraps up our October Halloween month. So now I'm not allowed to do horror movies anymore, guys, for a while.
Oh well, going into Christmas, we still.
Jingle all the way.
There are Christmas movies that are horror movies, so I might throw you a bone there.
We might do that.
But November, we're not going to do any horror movies for November. We're going to give it a bit of a rest, and the next week I'm going to run those interviews I've teased a couple of times that I did back in July over at Vulcan. So look out for that. We got Tony Todd and Catherine Hicks and Alec Peters and Gary Graham and Richard Hatch from Battlestar Galactica. So we're going to run that next week, and then the following week we'll be back with a new comparison remake film. So we haven't decided what that's going to be yet. So just
we don't know.
Yeah,
we'll put it on the message.
It'll be something a little different. It won't be it won't be horror, but November we're going to give that a rest and might sneak one in December because there's lots of Christmas evil movies.
Christmas horror is fun, and there's some that are coming up that I'm looking forward to.
So that's it. That's it for our Evil Dead movie. Go watch Ash versus the Evil Dead on Halloween. Everybody else, happy Halloween. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff. Trick or treat and stay safe.
And I'm Trish. Yeah, I guess trick or treat and stay safe and have fun.
Hey, before we go, are you guys going to dress up for Halloween?
I do have a plan. I think I've got all the stuff for it.
Okay.
Douchebag movie fan.
Douchebag movie fan? That's everybody. That's all of us. That's
do you want us to declare what we're going to be?
Yeah. Well, if you don't want to, that's fine.
Well, I'm going to attempt a Tina Belcher because she is my spirit animal and I love her.
Okay. I've been playing Kingdom Hearts, so I'm going to be doing Organization 13 dude. So when I go out,
sweet.
I like that cloak. So.
All right.
I'm probably going to hit up. I'll just shout this out. I guess what theater? God, come on.
Is it the overnight movie marathon? It's the Globe Theater downtown.
Globe Theater in Calgary is doing 12 hours of horror movies. And they're showing that new... what is that new one? There's a brand new
Happy Halloween
anthology.
Or something like that.
Oh, Tales of Halloween?
Tales of Halloween.
Yeah. That looks great.
They're running that and one that we should talk about on one of these episodes.
Monster Squad.
Monster Squad, of course. And
we were going to do that this time around, so
Spawn.
we'll probably do Monster Squad for next Halloween.
Sweet. And they're showing Deadly Spawn, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trish messaged me yesterday about that, and I totally wanted to go, but that day is so retardedly full.
So I think there might be
it's not going to happen.
An episode where you're going to listen to like me and Jeff just not be alive, and that'll be after the weekend we'll be recording.
Yeah, well, I've got all day work, and then I think a couple hours to get ready, and then I'm heading out to
Words and Pictures is giving away free comics on Halloween.
That's right. It is Halloween Comic Fest at your local comic shop. So if you're not in Calgary, you can hit up your local comic store, and if they're a cool store, they'll be doing a Halloween Comic Fest, and they'll have comics to give away to some kid-friendly stuff, some adult-friendly stuff. The some of them will have costume contests, go in costume, and just have a ball, and there's usually store discounts and all sorts of stuff, so go check that out. It's a fun thing to do. And this year it is actually on Saturday, Halloween, so go check that out before you go trick-or-treating. And, have fun at whatever your events. I'm going to go to Hang the DJ at Dickens this Halloween and have a blast there. Yeah. It's always a good time, and, we'll probably all be really tired for that show.
Yeah,
so.
that might be a Monday recording.
We might do a Monday recording on that one just to give us a day's rest and let our voices come back. All right, as we said, we've said our goodbyes, so we are out of here. Thanks for coming.
What the fuck was that? Your sister has turned into a zombie. What the fuck was that? Your girlfriend was a demon too. What the fuck was that? She just ripped my pre-ripped Abercrombie. What the fuck was that? I got some Shelly on my shoe. Ew. What darkness lurks beyond this wooden sanctum? What the fuck was that? Dude, these hoes been zombified. I cannot stay here anymore. I'm getting out of here. No, we cannot leave. Linda's ankle won't make it, I fear. I cannot stay. I killed my lay. I must go now. You can't go now. I must. You can't. I must. You can't. Bitches out for blood. I can't take this anymore. We don't even know if there's a way back except gotta go right now. I'll find a road where I'll flag down a van. Just listen to me. No, I won't. Can't walk. It's time to go. Cannot hike. Can't even stand. Then we'll leave her. That's our brand new plan. What the fuck was that? Now I'll put an end to this vacation. What the fuck was that? Scott, don't leave me all alone. Necronomicon, the book of the dead. A curse, I'm gone. What the fuck was that? It's the Evil Dead.